Were you ever captivated by the engineering prowess of the Zeiss 40mm f/0.33? What about the Zeiss 50mm f/0.7, used by Kubrick in Barry Lyndon? Well, if you're captivated by the idea of faster than f/1.2 lenses, then this video's for you, as we'll take a deep dive into Canon's RF 24mm f/0.7 design. I'll break it down for you in just a moment, but if you're serious about staying up to date on the latest camera gear, make sure to subscribe. It helps this channel grow while keeping you in the loop. In Canon's patent application, JP00484, filed on September the 12th, 2023, and published March the 25th, 2025, Canon claims to solve a long-standing challenge in lens design, to provide a compact imaging optical system that's both wide and fast. Canon already offers plenty of fast lenses and plenty of wide ones, but typically not both in the same package, as size and weight start to become an issue. Creating a lens that is both fast and wide usually results in a bulky and heavy optical design. The 50mm f/1.2 is already over 2 pounds at just 50mm, and that isn't exactly wide. To address the problem, 00484 proposes a new solution, a fast, wide, and compact 24mm lens that Canon says overcomes traditional problems. Ultra-fast primes that are also wide, that don't compromise image quality, well, that's become the holy grail for photographers.
If he will give us food and shelter for the night, he can join us in our quest for the Holy Grail.
And many of those issues affecting image quality we can see to some degree in lenses like Canon's 50mm f/1.2 or the 85mm f/1.2. And granted, these aren't very wide lenses, but they do suffer from a little bit of coma towards the edges. They're heavy, they're very heavy, and when it comes to softness, yeah, if you're not shooting at the optical aperture, they do become a little bit soft, wide open, and complex internal movements that lead to image shift and heavy focus breathing. Heavier breathing than you'll get out of me climbing the CN Tower. Attempting to design a lens with a very fast f/0.7 aperture, faster than anything on the marketplace, well, it's no small feat. Go ahead, Google it. You'll probably find mention of the super Q-Gigantic 40mm f/0.33, but that lens was never functional due to severe optical and mechanical issues. Coma and field curvature. That's what happens when you have light rays hitting from the outer edge of the lens to the sensor at such a steep angle, distorting point sources like stars and streetlights. When focusing close, especially with internal focusing, elements shift in ways that distort the focal length and composition. Back focusing distance is definitely an issue with modern mirrorless cameras because you've got a much shorter flange distance. So when designers are looking at moving groups around, they have very little room to work with without adversely affecting the image plane. And lastly, there's aberration correction. The wider the aperture, the more challenging it is to keep both chromatic and spherical aberration under control. For photographers, this kind of innovation means better than ever low light performance, better subject separation, even when shooting wide, and edge-to-edge sharpness. For videographers, it means saying goodbye to heavy focus breathing and off-axis aberrations. Canon's internal focusing group minimizes composition shift and breathing, making it far easier to nail those dramatic and fast-moving focus pulls. For Canon, this is more than just a technical achievement. It justifies premium prices over other high-end glass, strengthening their position as an industry leader, and potentially opens up new creative possibilities for filmmakers and photographers alike. I'd like to close off this video with a nod to the Zeiss 50mm f/0.7, a lens famously used by Stanley Kubrick in the 1975 film Barry Lyndon. Kubrick defied convention in this film. He wanted to craft a visual experience that was both emotionally resonant and historically authentic. Kubrick defied convention. He wanted to craft a visual experience that was both emotionally resonant but also historically authentic. He chose the Zeiss 50mm f/0.7 to shoot scenes that were lit solely by candlelight. He wanted to evoke a feeling of actually being in the 18th century. And in much the same spirit, that spirit of Kubrick always pushing boundaries, I think that's what Canon is doing here. They're looking way down the road. They're not looking back, they're looking way down the road, and they're pushing boundaries, imagining what could happen. They're not looking to Sony or Nikon for ideas or inspiration. Instead, they're trying to do what's never been done before. All we have here is a single patent application with a single lens embodiment. It shows that Canon wants to make lenses faster than f1.2, that are smaller, wider, and without optical issues. But does that mean that we'll actually see this Canon RF 24mm L f/0.7 in 2025? I wouldn't be surprised if Canon's researching and looking to develop lenses that are faster than the f1.2 that we see in the 50 and the 85mm. But will we see an f/0.7? I don't think so. I think we're probably going to see maybe f1.0, maybe something a little bit faster than that. But to see an f/0.7, I'm not willing to wager that. I think it would be exciting, and in fact it would capture a whole lot of attention, even just to come out with a single lens that's practical. Well, it wouldn't be practical though, would it? What would it cost? It would cost an obscene amount of money that most people wouldn't be able to afford, but to actually have one that's usable in a limited quantity and then come out with, let's say, an f1.0 or an f.95 or an f9 or 9.2, that would be exciting. That would be very useful to a lot of people. It would be truly exciting. But there's one thing we would need to see. This is just a single patent application. As I've seen before, combing through the patent application dumpster for many years, whenever we see something really interesting like this, like a super fast 24mm, wide open, fast 24mm f/0.7, we won't just have a single patent application, because there isn't really just one problem that we're trying to solve, and there's various different technical issues that need to be worked out. What I'd expect to see is many other patent applications that will follow this one, maybe 3, 4, or even 5 of them, but just one? Well, if all we have is one, then yeah, it's a nice idea that's probably going to be parked on a shelf, and they probably came to the conclusion that while they were able to solve this problem, they weren't able to solve it in a commercially viable way. But should we see more patent applications on the same subject? Well, that tells you that they're scratching beneath the surface and that we could potentially see faster lenses than the f1.2 that we currently see on the marketplace. The Canon RF 50mm f1.2 that I'm shooting this video with is currently $100 off. Then there's the Canon RF 50mm f1.4 LVCM for $1399, almost $1,000 less. And these are impressive lenses. I own both of them. The 50mm f1.2 stays on the R5 Mark I for all Studio A videos, and I really like this lens. When it comes to the difference between f1.2 and f1.4, for a lot of people, videographers, the difference isn't all that huge. But there are certain situations where you're doing portraits, when you're shooting in low light situations. The difference between f1.4 and f1.2 is huge. And the bokeh, the spherical outlines in the distorted light, we get those more, what do we call them? Calling them optical bubbles for lack of a better term, but they look better. You're able to open up things a whole lot more. But you are dealing with a much heavier lens. I mean, you're looking at just over 2 pounds, 2.09 pounds. That's pretty heavy. I think something like 950 grams. It's a heavy lens. It's a terrific lens. And when it comes to the minimum focusing distance, it's not that great. The 50mm f1.4, well, it's 6 inches shorter. It's quiet. It's got an aperture ring. That leads me to wonder. There is talk about Canon releasing some f1.2 lenses this year, and also a lens that will surprise us. I'm just wondering, is Canon working on a 50mm f1.2 version 2? That could potentially be just a little bit faster, or something else. Interesting. But I can tell you this, if there is an f1.0 or something a little bit faster, it's going to make the 50mm f1.2 just seem like an absolute bargain. Anyhow, if you're interested in purchasing any of those lenses, you might want to get them now, because by the end of the month, or May the 1st, I'm not sure when, but within the next couple of weeks, prices are going up, and they're going up across the Americas. We might see a little bit of a price increase in Europe and Asia. The 50mm f1.2 is currently on sale. It's a terrific lens, but you know what? If you get a chance, if you have a chance to try them out, try out the 50mm f1.4 versus the f1.2. I think for most people, you're going to like the 50 f1.4 better. I certainly do. In fact, if I was buying a 50mm today and I wanted a high quality 50mm like an L series, I would skip the f1.2 and go directly to the f1.4. I love it. It's upstairs in my Canon R5 Mark II. I wish I had it down here for props, but I don't. Anyhow, I hope you had a great Easter. I wish you a really good week. We're coming into spring now. Things are starting to warm up. And I just wish you a very prosperous 2025, what's left of it. It seems like it's going by pretty fast. And I also want to say a special thanks to those of you that have used my affiliate links in the past. Down below, many cameras are still on sale. The R5 Mark I, $29.99 with a free battery grip. The R5 Mark II, also with a free battery grip, $39.99. Whole bunch of lenses and camera bodies. I've got the links down below. If you do use those links, I get anywhere from 2 to 5% back, which really helps keep the lights on, supports this channel. And one other thing, you might want to take a look at my new membership levels. Click the join button. You'll see various different options. I have a new insider level, which takes you behind the scenes of this channel, what I do. And we also do private live streams. And I kind of use this as a bit of a training ground. If you actually want to show up on my live streams where we do product launches, gives you a chance to try out being live in a small group and decide if it's something you want to do big time. And it also gives you a chance to suggest ideas for videos. I do take user requests and we'll produce them, usually turn them around within a week or two. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great week, and we'll see you again soon.